Add myself to the stream. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Hook Sets Are Free. My name is Tyler, and it is Saturday night, November the 13th. So, thought I would hop on here, hang out with you guys for a little bit this evening, see how everybody's doing. I don't know if I was on last weekend or not, but it feels like it's been a while since I've been on. So, um, just thought I would hop on to say what's up, hang out for a little bit, maybe talk about how Black Friday's coming up, see if anybody has any plans for specific purchases. I will tell you about some of the things that are kind of on my list, and yeah, but we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about tonight. What's up, Abe? How you doing, man? Not too much. Doing pretty well. How are you? This week was another week where I really did not have a lot of opportunities to get out and fish. So, um, unfortunately, it was kind of a drop shot type of week for me in terms of the fish that I did catch. So, not the end of the world. I just don't necessarily prefer to fish that way all the time. But you got to do what you got to do. I managed to catch a couple fish on the Berkeley Maxent flatworm in the black color. And so that was fine. Always good to just catch a fish or two. That's really the whole point. But I think I only got out twice, got skunked once, and then caught a handful of fish on that flatworm the one other time that I did get out. So um, not too much going on my end, other than the fact that Black Friday is coming up. Uh, Weather is definitely getting colder, so I'm thinking about just the last couple of times that I'll be able to get out before ice is going to start forming. I might have a couple more weeks, but honestly, I think at this time last year we were already just about frozen. So we haven't had any snow here yet in Colorado. So I am counting my blessings and just saying that, so far so good. The mountains are getting snow, which is awesome. So ski season is right around the corner for me. But but yeah, really fishing has been slow. Water is definitely getting colder, but we have no signs of ice just yet. So six people in here already. Appreciate you guys. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you haven't already, and feel free to jump in the chat and uh, and let me know what you guys are up to. If you did any fishing this week, and uh, and then we will get around to talking about Black Friday here very soon. Abe says trying to get out tomorrow, but still iffy on it. Yeah, I hear you, man. I wish I could get out tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm happy to have my kids. So I just wish I could convince my kids to get out these days, like I could a couple of years ago. My 6-year-old daughter is just not feeling it all that much these days. So whatever. What's up, Daniel? How you doing? Anthony says, I think I might get out tomorrow. I hope so. Well, for your sake, I hope so too. D and B, what's up, man? I don't know if I recognize your name and you in here, but good to see you in here. Thanks. Some days I'm glad I live in Florida. Not um not one of those with the people and when it's hot. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, I can't imagine it being hot right now. We've had a few days in the 60s this past week, but again, wind has been kind of an issue here in Colorado for the last month or so. Today it was howling, probably 20 or so. So even if I had a chance to get out, dude, I don't know how it would have been. It's kind of brutal when the wind is blowing that badly. So the other day when I was out and did manage to catch a couple fish, the weather was kind of just right. It was borderline post frontal. We had yeah, probably 60, 65 degrees, and the wind was probably only 8 to 10 miles an hour. So not too bad. Kind of just right, actually. Couldn't get him to eat a jerk bait, couldn't get him to eat a spinner bait. And what else did I try out that day? again, I kind of had to go to the drop shot eventually and slow fish some high percentage areas, and did end up catching a couple of fish near some bushes. So been glad living in Florida. It's warm here, won't freeze, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I hear you, man. Uh, Lucky you. As I said, when it comes time for winter, all I'm doing is reorganizing tackle and skiing. I am a snowbird. I grew up skiing and absolutely love it. Probably about as much as I do fishing. But as you would expect, it's a much shorter season, right in that like 3 to 5 month range. From Yeah, I think opening weekend is next weekend uh, here in Colorado, at least at Vail and one or two other resorts. So from December through March really is good skiing, and keeps me busy and occupied, and gives me something to look forward to, and get some adrenaline from, as well as good exercise. So yeah, I will also do a fair amount of fly fishing throughout the winter on better days where I have a chance to get away, take the day off, and drive up to the mountains and get on some of the water that I prefer to fly fish on. I've been doing a lot of fly tying in the past few months, as you guys know. I've continued to do that. I've been trying out some new Euro style nymphs these past couple weeks, but fun to tie flies for sure. And I've also experimented in tying a few more bass flies. Uh, Not necessarily just bass; they could certainly be for brown trout as well, but kind of Clouser minnow style flies. So uh, I'm excited to put that to work. And next year, I might even do a little bit more bass fishing with my fly gear. So we will see. Let me know if you guys are interested at all in seeing some of that content, or just hearing more about it uh, as we get into next season. I will probably uh, end up posting some of that content, whether it is uh, here on the YouTube channel or over on Instagram. We will see. But Anthony says, finally seen the Duo Realis 95 flat minnow. Duo Realis 95 flat. Um, are you sure you don't mean the dual hardcore 95 flat minnow? This guy right here. Let me see if I can show you. Hardcore minnow flat 95 SP by Dual, Duel. Dual hardcore, not Duo Realis. Okay. Definitely a different brand. Both are Japanese, but definitely different baits. Duo Realis uh, makes some awesome baits. Shout out Aaron Martins, RIP again. But um, yeah, Dual Hardcore, man. Those are some awesome baits for the value, as I talk about on a somewhat frequent basis. What's up, Matthew? How you doing tonight? DNB says, I do want to try skiing though. Yeah, snow skiing is awesome, and something that my daughters are really starting to get into that much more. This year, my 6 year old is going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 full day lessons. Um, she's not quite old enough, and we can't quite commit to being up in the mountains every single weekend for her to do like a ski club type of thing where she's going out every Saturday or every Sunday, like I did when I was a kid. But we will certainly get our kids into that in the next few years. So I've got a 6 year old and a 3 year old daughter, and an infant son, and skiing will definitely be a huge part of their life growing up. So, yeah, one of my big passions, and certainly will be one of theirs as well. Matt says, hopefully, I'm going to go out tomorrow and fish. Was a little too windy today here, um, but trying to get to that lake that has some beast fish. Sweet, man. Oh, Daniel, sorry to hear that you're a little bit sick right now, dude. Anthony says, I had a bad day watching college football today. OU lost and shouldn't have, but it happens. Yeah, I hear you. It's been a weird year for the Denver Broncos. I'm more of an NFL fan than a, say, college football fan, especially because I went to a Division III school in Texas. And so I didn't grow up a diehard CU Buffs or CSU Rams fan here in Colorado. So I've been Denver Broncos are really my deal, and I play fantasy football. So the NFL is where I focus my attention, and the Broncos have had a interesting year to say the least. But I suppose we're still in contention to make a backdoor playoff spot in the AFC, but not really holding out too much hope. I'm just a little bit sad that we're going to have a mediocre year and probably not do well enough to make the playoffs and not do well enough to get a good draft pick next year. So, yeah, that's kind of the way that the Broncos have been since winning the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, 5+ years ago. So, it's how it goes. Matt says, Tyler, do you see a pic of that sneaky rat that I sent you? Tested it out the other day, and man, the knock on that bait is insane. You can hear the bait knocking it like 40 feet away. Pretty crazy. I love it. A sneaky rat. I don't know if I did see it or not. To be honest, I've been a little bit inactive on Instagram the past week or two, and have really no excuse for it. But I will check that out, man. Glad to hear that you're liking the bait. Uh, Let us know in the comments. Did you get any new pickups this week, man? Kern River Rod, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? Guys, we're gonna hang out here for a few more minutes before we hop on over and I do a little screen share and maybe we hop on Tackle Warehouse for a little bit because in all honesty, I still think Tackle Warehouse is really the best place to shop for Black Friday. Unless, of course, you are buying certain rods or reels. There are some other places that you can go shop and find a good deal. Like I know at American Legacy, uh, I forget the acronym, but American Legacy, they're doing some sweet deal on Dobbins rods for like 35% off or something crazy. So that would be a good place to shop if not Tackle Warehouse, where you're only going to get 25% off. But honestly, you can get 25% off of, I think, everything site wide. They really don't have many restrictions during Black Friday. So that's the time to go ahead and make your big purchases for the year in preparation for next year. So I was tempted to make a purchase on another website or two a few days ago because I did see the Berkeley Gilly come in stock at a couple places, and there were a few other baits that were kind of on my radar, but I did practice a little bit of how would you call it, restraint, and did not make those purchases. I also saw the Mike Buka Bull Gill on sale for like 20 or 25% off of retail price at one of the places that I shop. So was tempted there, and again practice some restraint. So I am hanging in there, waiting for Black Friday, if we're being honest, and we can talk about that. Daniel says, I think the 35% was if you win a drawing at AMLF. Oh, okay. Uh, Interesting. Yeah, I think you're actually right. In retrospect, I think that's what it was, which is kind of silly. If you win a drawing, you should get something free, I think. But I did hear on Debo's stream earlier tonight that Omnia Fishing is doing an early Black Friday sale, 20% off of Dobbins rods and some other stuff. That's only running for another day or two, though. It's been this past week and ends, I think, on Monday. So if you are interested, go check that out. Otherwise, just wait till Black Friday, Tackle Warehouse, and cross your fingers that what you want is in stock or that you don't have to wait forever for back orders to come back in stock. But Kern River Rod says EP fibers are a great material for streamers. Cool. What does EP stand for, man? EP fibers. I should know that, but interesting. Yeah, I mean, it looks a lot like what I use in the way of either bucktail or uh, fake bucktail. Um, so Eric Puglisi, interesting. So dude makes his own fibers. That's pretty cool. Matt says he got a crank down swim bait in the mail today. A new Rafa 10-inch shad glide. Also has a Piz coming. Jeez, dude. You making some sweet purchases recently, but your collection has got to be out of control these days. Uh, I mean, at what point do you slow down, and how do you make your decisions of what to throw? Is it just what you're in the mood for, or what all do you bring when you're out on the water, man? Because otherwise, what are you bringing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of baits out on the water with you at any given time? That is a risky business and kind of a sketchy deal. Daniel says Omnia has a good deal on Dobbins slash Daiwa combo. Interesting. You mean each brand or like some combo that they've put together, a Dobbins rod and a Daiwa reel or something like that? What do you mean by that? If you put a Dobbins rod in your cart, 20% discount, you can get an option for 25% off Daiwa Tatula 103. All right, that's pretty sweet, man. Well, I recommend both. So honestly, I don't have many of each. I really only have the Dobbins 795 swim bait rod. I think that's the only Dobbins rod that I've got. And then when it comes to Daiwas, I do have the Tatula 100. Um, I've got the Tatula 200. I've got the Tatula SV, and those might be the only three that I've got. But um, yeah, 150 bucks for a $200 reel. Yeah, that's a good deal for sure. I mean, that's essentially what you'd be paying um, during the sale at Tackle Warehouse, right? 25% off. So, you might consider getting a slightly different reel. Not that the Tatula 103 is a bad reel, but honestly, in my opinion, the Tatula SV is pretty sick. One of my absolute favorites. So, if you want to hop on Tackle Warehouse for a hot minute, we can do that. I don't have everything super organized over there, but I'll kind of show you a thing or two real quick in terms of how I keep things. Let me see if I can figure this out again. Screen share. All right. I'm going to try to do this. Looks like I'm all right. Can you guys see what I'm looking at here? This is hard for me to see personally. I'm going to try and see if I can do this kind of half screen and half screen for myself so that I know what's going on here. What up, Justin? How you doing, man? Matt says I sold a couple baits, but you're right. It can get overwhelming. Usually, I bring a certain style of bait that I want. Usually, I'll bring all my crank downs with me versus Glides. Got it. Okay. Now, I want to see what this actually freaking looks like if I can. What's up, Riley Belden, with the super sticker? Appreciate you. Okay, so you guys can see this. All right. So as you see, I've got the Huddleston pulled up right now. Now, I might need to just go ahead and make this big, but then I can't really see what's going on. I really need multiple monitors at the moment. But let me show you real quick. Riley says, "Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's been doing well. Tyler, hope the kids and the family are doing good. Hope everyone's been safe. Appreciate you. Uh, yes, and yes, everything's going well. Family is well. And yeah, thank you so much. We've all been just a little bit sick, but nothing crazy. And, my daughter got her first dose of the vaccine last week. So that was pretty sweet. Let me show you guys my wish list. Don't have a ton in here. And to be honest, what you're going to see up top are things that I probably am not going to get. Some of these do it molds and jig hooks and things like that. Some Berkeley Fritz sides. I don't know if I'm going to pick those up or not. These Gamakatsu weedless ball heads are definitely something that that have been catching my eye. I've been looking for a jig head specifically with wire weed guards and a solid bait keeper like this. So I also like the fact that this line tie is a little bit recessed into the head. So I like the look of those a lot, but they're relatively pricey. Considering they're not tungsten, these guys are nearing $8 a pack for 3 of them. So, Tackle Warehouse, Black Friday is a great time to take advantage of something like that. Sheesh, Matt says, I've had someone trying to take my bag before while my back was turned. As soon as I turned around, he dropped the bag. I started walking back and didn't let the bag down the rest of the day. Yeah, I wouldn't if I were you either, man. That is scary, when you're carrying around high dollar baits like that. I would not put your bag down. So, as you guys know, I like the Evergreen Flat Force as a flat sided crankbait. I could pull my flat sides out, but they're here in the middle. I'm not going to grab them. I've got 2 of them already. Honestly, the colors that I've got are this guy, the Olive Crawdad, which is pretty sick. It's got a little bit of translucence to it. And then this Wicked Smallmouth Bass color. So the one that I really want to get to be able to fully cover my bases and get like a real bait fishy color for clear water and cold waters is Flash Wakasagi. So that's definitely on my list. It is a relatively expensive flat-sided crankbait, but worth the money. And so probably going to pick that one up. This guy is a new bait on the market this year and has definitely got my attention. So I have not picked one up yet for a couple of reasons. One, it's a pricey bait. This thing retails at like $26, $27. Check that out. But as you can see here, this is a very versatile and unique bait. So it is essentially a prop bait more than a spy bait. This thing is meant to be fished on the surface, though it weighs just about an ounce. This thing came out at ICAST this year, I believe. So what makes it cool is that you can change out the blades so that you can have a bigger blade, a smaller blade, or throw on this little weight here. and get the thing to sink. So it's a floating bait that's made to be worked on the surface. It will have some body roll. It comes stock with that large blade on the belly, but you can customize the bait by changing out what is beneath the bait, and you can make it a subsurface bait like a spy bait, if you will. And I'll be honest with you, this juvenile largemouth bass color grabs my attention for sure. So Nishini makes some really good baits. I don't really have any of them, but I've heard only good things. So that's on my list. As you can see, I've added a couple packs of the Maxcent Little Generals. I don't really know for sure if I'm going to get these or not, but considering I've got just about every Ned rig bait on the market, that's a joke, but I do have dozens and dozens of different Ned rig baits, and really need to start making some comparison videos at some point. Um, I think I probably will get this bait, even though it does not fit really the type of Ned rig fishing that I prefer to do, in that this is a heavily salted sinking bait. It is not going to float or stand up, but it does have that Maxcent flavor, which is absolutely crucial. And I've had tremendous success on Maxcent this year, specifically the hitworm and the flatworm, and more recently the D worm as well. But as you guys know, I've been picking up a whole bunch of Maxcent in the last couple of months in a number of different profiles, um, especially the newer Chigger Craw in Maxcent. The Chigger Craw is not new, but the Maxcent version of it is. So the Little General is their Ned rig bait. Same exact size as, say, the Finesse TRD at 2.75. So I'll probably pick those up. Could end up being a good drop shot bait on a wacky rig. So we shall see. I don't know if those will stay in stock or not. And then the other thing that came in new at Tackle Warehouse that does grab my attention and is something that I'm going to get is the new Mini Max Chatterbait. Okay, this guy here is an awesome in between size, but a smaller chatterbait. So as you can see, they make these in a 1/4 ounce, 3/8, and a half. So I will try these in both a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8. But I love some of these colors, like this bluegill. It's got the same skirting material as the Brett's bluegill jackhammer chatterbait. Looks like maybe there's some iridescence on the blade, which is wicked. But looks like they've only got it in like 8 colors. This gizzard shad looks pretty fishy, fairly natural, but I do prefer a blade that is painted on a chatterbait. I just find that I've had more success and I have more confidence in them. So I believe this comes with a 2/0 hook, heavy duty 2/0 black nickel hook on them. So pretty cool. It's going to have like a downsized blade. So I can't tell you exactly how much smaller that blade is, but I like that Z-Man has started playing around with that. So if you guys can see me in the corner, I'm showing this big blade chatterbait, which I've told you guys that I already had the chance to get out and fish once or twice with. I did take it out to fish in targeting pike when I was out a week and a half ago fishing for pike, and I noticed that once you change the gear that you're throwing this thing on, it becomes quite a bit more manageable. So I don't really prefer to have to do that in changing the rod and reel setup that I'm using to fish different chatterbaits, but I've noticed with a few different chatterbaits that is necessary. So For example, the jackhammer is one that I like to throw on kind of a standard chatterbait setup, something in the range of 7 foot to 7'3", medium heavy, moderate, moderate fast action. Okay. Um, and I like to throw it on a high speed gear ratio. And then I find that a medium speed retrieve with kind of an occasional speed up of the reel handle does the trick most of the time. Um, However, when I started playing around with the Stealth Blade when it first came out, I don't know if this was a year or two ago, I really noticed that that it has a significantly smaller amount of thump. That it is way more subtle than the jackhammer is, and and that bothered me. I felt like I could not maintain contact with the bait at all times, and so that bothered me, and I almost gave up on the bait altogether. But once I downsized my gear and went to more of a medium power as opposed to a medium heavy, all of a sudden it became quite a bit more manageable where the blade was more consistent and I could feel the thump quite a bit better. So sometimes changing your gear can matter a lot. And specifically with the big blade, I threw this on my standard chatterbait setup first time I used it. And the amount of thump that this big blade puts out is absolutely insane. I mean, look at the size difference of these blades. It is upwards of 50% larger. It is a huge blade and thumps really, really hard. So um, it was overwhelmingly so when I first tried it, and I had to stop. Um, I mean, I cut it off and set it down. But last time I went out, I used it on a heavy power rod, and not only could I bomb this thing out uh, just as well, but I felt like the thumping was managed quite a bit better with this big blade, with just a heavier power rod. So all of a sudden, I did come to like it quite a bit better. I felt like I could manage the depth at which I was fishing it. And of course, I did not get bit on it that day, but my confidence in that bait went up tremendously. So, so I expect that to happen a little bit with this Mini Max, although the weight uh, will matter some here as well because you can get these in a quarter ounce or a half ounce. And then, of course, in between at the 3/8. So if I'm throwing it on a quarter ounce, I will step down to a medium or even throw it on a spinning setup to just see where it performs best um, in terms of the action that I'm getting out of the bait. And then if I'm throwing a 3/8, I will probably try it on my standard chatterbait setup. And of course, I will keep you guys posted on that. So uh, let's see here. Only a couple other things sitting in here. One is the G-Rat uh, Pistol Pete. Okay, I had this literally in my cart at Discount Tackle last week when I placed my order, and by the time I went to place the order, this thing was out of stock. So I was kind of disappointed in that, even though they only had one color in stock, and that's this adult trout color, which is a good one. You know, it's the same color that I've got in the original Sneaky Pete, which uh sitting right here. The Sneaky Pete is an awesome budget glide bait. Very versatile and in my opinion has some really good action on it. So I am curious to try some slightly smaller glide baits just to see how they perform in comparison to, say, the medium-sized glide baits that I have in that 6 and 7-inch range. So before I go bigger and get a larger, heavier rod to handle big baits, I am probably going to go smaller and try some of these smaller baits. Spoiler alert, I did order the Savage Gear Shine Glide in their smaller size, and have that coming from Discount Tackle. So I was going to order this Pistol Pete, which is a smaller version. As you can see, they make 3 sizes of the Sneaky Pete. The Sneaky Pete is an 8-inch, I think it's more 7.5, but it could be 8, 2.4-ounce glide bait. They make a larger version, which they call the Papa Pete, which is 10 inches and just about 5 ounces. And the Pistol Pete is a downsized 5 3/4 inches, 1.2-ounce bait. So I'm definitely interested in picking one of these up. You know, this small size retails for $20. So after 25% off, we're talking $15. And these paint jobs are, I would say, good, not great. They're fine. But there are a couple of patterns that I like. The Kokanee looks all right. The Thule Perch looks all right. The Gizzard Shad, no, not my favorite. The Hitch looks pretty good. There was one in here that I was interested in that I can't seem to find right now. But that Baby Bass is the one that I'm kind of leaning toward at the moment. So that's one that I will probably pick up. And then I just today added the Huddleston 8-inch. I can't decide between the 68 special and the 8-inch, but I do want to be able to throw a Huddleston early in the spring next year after ice out. So, I do have some of the Savage Gear wedge tail baits. Let me see if I can stop the screen share here and get big again for you. So this right here is the Savage Gear 40 pulse tail trout. It's got that wedge tail design, and this is the 8-inch version. It's got a line through design so that you can put this guy into the top or the bottom of the bait, which is pretty sweet. And I like this bait for sure, but I've never owned a Huddleston, if we're being honest. And I feel like I'm probably missing out and really need to give it a fair shake, because I don't know how many people here in Colorado are throwing Huddlestons. And so I know that the 68 special might get bit just a little bit more often than an 8-inch, but I'm not looking for number of bites per se, so much as to just catch a PB, right? So the 68 special is cool because it's got the body of the 6-inch Huddleston, but the tail from the 8-inch. It's a modification that people used to make to Huddlestons, is taking both baits, removing the tail from an 8-inch and putting it on the backside of a 6-inch bait to get just a little bit more of that tail kick, that presence in the water. But the Huddleston is a bait that is meant to be crept on bottom, just super, super slowly, in cold water specifically. So that is on my radar, and one that I've been meaning to pick up for the last few years, really, but just I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger. No good reason, if we're being honest. Alan says that bone color looks good. Yeah, of that that sneaky peep, does look pretty good. I don't throw bone swim baits, uh, and there's no reason that I don't. But I guess it's just a confidence thing. I like to throw um, color patterns that seem to be a bit more realistic. At least that's where I'm confident. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys are planning to pick up during Tackle Warehouse. Um, Even if it's not at Tackle Warehouse during Black Friday, what are you guys trying to get? What's on your list? Are you guys getting baits? Are you getting rods, reels? Are you not making a purchase? What is the deal? Because I will probably go out of my way to spend some $100 or so. Um, sometimes I go a little bit wilder than that, and sometimes I don't even spend that much during Black Friday. It all kind of depends. But based on what I just showed you, if I get one of those flat force, one of those Nishini prop baits, one of the Pistol Pete's, a Huddleston, some of those Mini Max chatterbaits, I mean, we'd be pushing $100 right there. So um, we'll see. Of course, I reserve the right to change my order at any given time. Nothing is in my cart at the moment, and things will probably change in the way of availability. I've also been tempted to make another purchase from Ichiban Tackle, uh, but really don't have any need to do that. I have an addiction, guys. I have a problem, uh, and I know a lot of you guys do too. But can't help but do some browsing from time to time. So um, I could show you what's in there right now as well. But Matt says definitely try the 68 special. It still catches tanks, especially if you're going for smallies. I hear you, man. Abe's just going to get some baits and terminal tackle and lots of line. I hear you. Alan in the house. What's up, dude? Picked up the Johnny Morris Signature Series rod and reel from Bass Pro. It's been a great setup. Yeah, I've got that reel, and I like it a lot. Super smooth, but a little bit big in the hands, if we're being honest. I used it a bit late last year and early this year, and then I ended up taking the line off of it. So I'm looking at it right now over on the table over here, but I'm not going to go grab it right now. Good reel for sure. Feels really good in terms of how it operates, but big for my hands and my personal preference. Daniel says, I've already ordered some rod, reel, and baits. Dang, dude, where are you buying from? And how'd you get the deal? Or are you one of those people that's trying to take advantage of the loophole? I heard somebody talking about this recently, and it's not a bad idea at all. Tackle Warehouse has a policy where they will honor not just best prices from anywhere else, other retailers, but they will honor their own best prices in the last 30 days or within 30 days of a purchase that you've made. So let's say you make a purchase from Tackle Warehouse today and their Black Friday sale doesn't start for another week and a half. Um, well, you've got 30 days to go ahead and submit a, let's say, what do you call it? A request to price match where they're going to honor their best price. So for whatever you could buy it on Black Friday for, they will then refund you the money as if you did buy it during Black Friday. But it requires that extra step of you contacting them to claim your money. So, yeah. Is that what you did, Daniel? Or where'd you buy from, dude? Matt says probably not getting anything, to be honest. Maybe some treble hooks. Want to get some BKK hooks, falling in love with them, saving money for bait drops that are coming up. I hear you. You're a bait drop fanatic. Uh, does Tackle Warehouse sell BKK hooks, or where do you get those? Because I know that they've been more and more popular over the last year or two. You know, a couple hook manufacturers, uh, Ryugi has really made their way onto the market and become kind of uh, industry standard along with Hayabusa. But BKK is one that it's kind of underground, and I don't know where you can get them, but I've heard nothing but good things about those. So, uh, yeah, good for you, man. Anthony says Carl's Bait and Tackle has the green 13 Concept SZ reel for $72 if you're a member with them. All right. I am not a member with them, but that sounds like a pretty good deal. I mean, what's that reel normally retail for? Daniel says I joined Omnia, so I got the 20% discount on baits and the rod, and then 25% off the Daiwa reel. And then I also got a 10% back off of my as store credit. Hot damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Sounds like you got some good deals. Way to go. In taking advantage of the sale and the membership and the credit, all of that. Sweet, dude. Happy for you. Anthony says it retails at 150 bucks. So that's over 50% off. That's a damn good deal, man. Are you going to buy it or not? Honestly, I am not in the market for a reel. And if I was, you know what it would be? It would be a reel that I could get elsewhere for a little bit cheaper. And so I'm not going to buy it until I really want to pull the trigger. But that guy is this guy right here. Okay. And I don't even know, this doesn't look like the 2021 version. So, yeah. Probably not going to be the one. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick. This is the new model, guys. 350 bucks. Ba-boom. This guy won the award, best freshwater reel at ICAST this year. If I'm gonna get a new reel, it's gonna be the Zillion. And I mean, they're in stock right now at Discount Tackle. So maybe I'll end up making that purchase at some point, but not right here, right now, when Black Friday is on the way. Yeah, Brian, at some point I will. And I'm not trying to get all snobby, but it is a damn good looking reel, and I've been nothing but impressed with the Tatula SV in general, which is a $200 reel. And so at some point, I do want to step up to that Zillion, especially with the SV spool. But I just don't know when the right time is, especially because I don't have a boat. I fish from the bank, and I'm not a one rod, one reel type of guy. And I don't want to abuse that beauty. So we shall see. Daniel says my order was 370 bucks. Barking spider, sorry about that. I paid 260 something and got 26 bucks back. Pretty nice, Daniel. Pretty nice. 370 bucks is that's an order right there, man. So Matt says with those BKK hooks, hard to find, but you have to get them from random stores like saltwater tackle shops. Weird. Hmm. Yeah, I hear you, Anthony. Um, if you were buying a reel, it would just be a Lose LFS. Lose LFS is good for sure. I was gonna say maybe you should hit me up on the side. I would sell you one of my reels on the cheap, depending on what you're looking for. But I've got an excess number of reels right now. Not that you'd be looking for a used Mach 2 reel, especially since these handles get a little bit dirty. But um, I have a number of reels that are not getting used that I'd be willing to part with for significantly less than retail, and they're all in really good condition. So, Alan, gotta get out of here. No problem, dude. I hope you do hammer them tomorrow. And sorry about that. I do love you, but rock on. Good luck on the water. Hang loose. Tight lines, man. Get some good rest. Matt says Tackle Warehouse carries the BKK jig style hooks, but not the treble hooks. That's weird. So maybe they're not far off from carrying the BKK trebles. Brian says you get what you pay for. Uh, Not needed, but I'm sure you will enjoy it. Yeah, pretty much. Not needed, but I know I will enjoy it. That's the thing. Uh, with a lot of fishing stuff, it's just about the enjoyment of using it, the enjoyment of catching fish on it. So that's where my obsession for baits and gear comes from. But I am not a gear junkie just yet. I feel like that's for down the road, especially once I manage to get a boat and am able to really take care of rods and reels in a way that I haven't been able to as a primarily a bank angler. So Abe says I got the 6 Sense Team 6 cranking rod and a Tatula CT in the 8-1-1. Interesting. Are you planning on pairing those together or what? Ordinarily, I would throw a 6-speed reel on a cranking rod, but um, are those just separate purchases, or do you plan to pair them up? I would imagine that 6 Sense cranking rod is a good one. Ordinarily, I am of the school of thought that a cranking rod does not need to be super expensive. You just need to have the right action on it. But that Tatula CT, I have heard nothing but good things about. Really good bang for the buck type of reel. So, right on, man. No, Brian, I did not ever check out those Bassman spinner baits. Or maybe I did, but just never did anything about it. You sent me something about it, right? I think I saw what you sent me, but I think I just checked out their website and never got around to making a purchase. But who knows? How many of them do you have, man? You want to make a trade? Abe says wasn't gonna was gonna put the DC SLX on it. Well, why'd you get the Tatula CT? I mean, both are great reels, right? Well, dag nabbit, guys, we're 56 minutes in, and I gotta pee. So I'm gonna do that so that we can hang out a little bit longer, and then maybe we can talk about uh, just random stuff. I did a little bit of tackle organizing this week, kind of reorganized some of my jerkbait boxes. And I say jerkbait boxes because now I've literally got like three or more jerkbait boxes. I was doing rough math and I've got over $2,000 in jerkbaits right now, which is ridiculous. But um, I've been having some success as of late on jerkbaits, and my confidence in them is building, and I plan to fish them more and more. Daniel, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Be back whenever you need to, man. Anthony says the Z-Man Power Finesse spinnerbait is awesome. Any of your reels in right-handed? Dude, only like one or two. So sorry about it. If you're trying to buy a reel from me, that might not be best. Brian says I have like 5 or so. The Rip Rap, low and slow, likes to take them from me. Jerk baits, man. That's tough. Sorry to hear that. Guys, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Think of a question or two to ask or a topic that you want to talk about, okay? Almost just hooked myself. Well, dang it, my son is awake right now somehow, some way. Dude's been struggling to sleep last night and tonight. That's mostly why I wasn't on last night. Is that he timed things pretty poorly in terms of when he was wanting to eat. So unfortunately, um, that's how it went. I was busy taking care of him last night, and yeah, tonight I already fed him once. Not even 2 hours ago, and dude's already awake again. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm gonna keep my ears out just in case he really wakes up and starts freaking out. He's mostly just like whining and making noise right now, but he's not fully awake. So oh, Brian's got 5 of the spinner baits. Okay, my bad, dude. Kern, what did you say that why are you saying crickets? Interesting, Brian. So you got to keep that spinnerbait close to the riprap, huh? So you end up losing a few, but you catch them good on it. I hear you. Yeah, for no, that's a great point, and I've honestly brought one down here before. Um, but I've been encouraged by other people to just take a minute break. So that's usually what I do when I do have to take a piss. But I hear you, man. She uses it all the time. That's hilarious. Matt says, "Have you been trying or using any of the bigger baits you got recently for this cold to get a bigger bite before it gets too cold?" Um, some, but not enough. I will say that. Okay. Uh, I've been throwing the Shine Glide. I've been throwing the Arashi Glide and the Arashi Swimmer, and I've been throwing the BBZ one. But I'm still. I mean, call me a pussy, but I haven't thrown the Slide Swimmer yet, dude. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. So no, I really need to get out there and spend a day dedicating the day to swim baits. But honestly, I have not gotten around to doing that just yet. And so no, thank you for asking, but I haven't. You guys know that I throw the 6 inch Mag Draft Freestyle quite a lot. This is a kind of a go to for me. Has become what I throw in lieu of a 5 inch swim bait these days. Or even like a 5.8 inch Kitech style swim bait. So, guys, he's getting louder. I'm going to give this like 2 more minutes before I actually have to get out of here. So, if he doesn't stop, I'm going to have to leave. Anthony says, I like talking gear. What's everyone's favorite casting reel under $150? Hmm. Under $150. That's interesting because all my favorites are like between that $150 to $200 range. So under $150 is probably the new Lose KBD reel. It's like $140. But I've been liking it quite a lot. I've got two of those. I've been using the snot out of them this year. So yeah, man. Well, yeah, Curran, that's what happens when, I vanish for 2 minutes. But yeah, that's a little bit louder now, eh? Brian says, any new baits that have been working better than you thought? That's a good question. Uh New baits that have been working better than I thought. Hmm. I mean, theoretically, the popper um, worked quite a bit better than I thought it would this year. Um, as did the Max Sense stuff. Just when thinking back on how this year went, of course, I continued with the jackhammer chatterbait, threw it more than I should have in retrospect. But when I'm only out there for an hour, 2 hours, max 3 hours at a time, and I'm bringing a couple of rods with me, I pretty much always have a jackhammer chatterbait tied on. And so there's no surprise there at all. But I would say the few that were new to me and really successful this year uh, were the Maxent baits, the flatworm, and the hitworm. especially because of their profile. Um, they've done wonders for me in catching a wide variety of species. So not only am I catching largemouth and smallmouth primarily on a drop shot, but also on a shaky head and or a Texas rig. Uh, but I'm catching panfish, bluegill and perch, and I'm catching trout. Um, Literally by cutting them down and threading them on small jig heads. So the max scent stuff has been killer for me this year. The Geek Crack Bellows Gill was one that I played around with quite a bit in the spring and early summer and really liked. And then just the popper in general. It didn't necessarily matter which one I was throwing, but that Megabass uh, Pop X. The Pop Max is the bigger 3-inch version. The Pop X is that like 2.5 or 2.25. It's the 1/4 inch popper and or 1/4 ounce popper. I had really good success on it, um, as well as a handful of other poppers. So, uh, yeah, those were probably the bigger surprises for me this year. Just given that I didn't have like super high expectations for them. I would also say one other that sticks out to me is like the KVD 2.5 wake bait. Okay. Um, just killer in the summertime. Good question, though, man. Thanks. Abe says, Anthony, I got the Shimano SLX MGL and I love it. Cast further than my DC, but that's just me, um, just a beginner. Kern River Rod says depth's 250 today for nothing. Well, dude, what do you expect, man? You're gonna have some great days. You're gonna have some shitty days, but got to get out there and sling it, right? I am regretting not throwing my new slide swimmer 175 that I picked up a month or two ago, and that I really need to make a point to fish. Brian says the 5-inch Spark Shad has been the bait of the year for me. Yep, that's a great bait for sure, and one that I do have a lot of confidence in, but just have kind of gotten away from throwing because I like the Magdraft Freestyle just a little bit better. It's more durable, and I like that slightly more subtle kick to it, where it does have more of a sweet spot than the Spark Shad, uh, but yeah, I've got a lot of confidence in that 5-inch Spark Shad too, man. I know, Matt. I know. I do need to chuck that slide swimmer for sure. I should just go out and throw the slide swimmer and do or die. You know what I mean? Abe, I can. In fact, oh damn, I've been throwing it, dude. It's upstairs in the garage, but I might have another one sitting around here. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So here's the bait. This is the 13 Fishing. It's a collaboration with Coalition Baits, whoever that is. And this bait is called the BAMF Swimmer, or the BAMF Shad, okay? And it is designed around a 6/0 owner beast hook. But as I've showed you guys before, I do like to throw this on, just like with the Mag Draft Freestyle, I like to throw this thing on an underspin blade. This is the Trocar swim blade. So I will throw that same hook on it, but let me see if I can find a beast hook at the ready. Could probably just pull one off of this Mag Draft. Yeah. So 6/0 owner beast is what this bait is designed around. So not only does this thing have a really lifelike profile to it, I really kind of like this fin hanging off. Realistic eyes, scales, but check out how deep this belly is. It goes all the way to the back. And then there's a slit for laying your hook on top of the bait. So literally, we're going to line this thing up and we're going to notice that we want this screw lock to come in kind of straight. So I'm going to go in square. And just like you do with any bait that you're rigging with an owner CPS spring, you literally want to screw this thing all the way to the edge of the bait, okay? And you're going to line that up to see where the hook ought to come out, which is literally right before that fin. So I'm going to bring that hook up into the bait. You can see it's going to rest just like that. And then I'm going to pull the bait, bend it such that I can spot where this thing is going to poke through the top. And I want it to come out right there. Okay? Now, do not need to Texpose this thing. I am mostly satisfied with that. It could be just a hair better, but if you look at this from a side standpoint and from the front, this thing is going to run straight. So I don't have any real issues with that, but as you can see, this hook is going to just set right there on the bottom. You can't even see the hook, but when you get a bite, this whole bait is going to collapse around that beast hook because it is completely hollow. There is nothing in the inside of this bait. Okay. So, awesome hookup ratio, very good action on this BAMF shad, and I do recommend it. So, thanks for the question, dude. Brian says, I think Abu Garcia's got a $160 reel on Amazon for 99 bucks right now. Sweet. Yeah, I'm not totally sure about that, Daniel, but it's a good reel. I'll tell you that much. Do, do, do. Yeah, Anthony. I did post about that bait just the other day. I'm not sure if that's why Abe was asking for me to show a little tutorial, but it's a good bait for sure. And it's like about the same price as the Magdraft Freestyle. I want to say a 2 pack is 15 bucks. For that size. That's a 5.5 inch bait, 5 1/4, something like that. So really bite-sized gizzard shad type of profile. They do make it in a larger 8 inch version, which only comes one to a pack. Um, so it's like 15, or maybe it's even a little bit more for the one. So I really think you get a good bang for the buck on that smaller size. But no problem, Abe. My pleasure, dude. Yeah, Anthony. Honestly, Matt was talking about the Quantum Smoke S3, which is a sick reel. It's like 170 bucks though. Does not fit into that category of 150 or less. So uh, the new Lose KVD speed spool uh, is made a little bit differently, but it has a lot of the same features and is built really well, especially for a Lose reel. It comes in a 6, 7, and an 8 speed, which is unusual for Lose. It's got EVA foam knobs on it, which is unusual for Lose, and it's got a braking system, which is both internal and external. So, um, really well made, especially for a $140 price. But that Quantum Smoke S3, aside from the Daiwa Tatula SV, that Quantum Smoke S3 reel is my favorite. All right, guys. Do you have anything else for me? Because I can still hear my son whining, and I feel like I ought to just go hang out with him. And chances are I'll probably fall asleep with him, which is not ideal, but also not a bad thing. I feel bad with him not sleeping well. So it's a little bit too early for me to feed him again, but I struggle to hear my kids cry, man. And he's not full blown crying, right? Like he's not freaking out, but he's just clearly not sleeping well. All right, guys. Yeah, I hear him again. I gotta go. Thank you, Matt, for understanding. Anthony, I'm with you, dude. So, guys, um, I'm out of here. I got more important things to do, and that is take care of my children. But as always, super fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on and hanging out a while tonight. Appreciate your support. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. And I will see you again soon. Peace.